Okay, we're staying on this subject. Joining me now, former Afghan interpreter Zack Poyan, California Congressman and Navy veteran Mike Garcia. First to you, Zack, thank you both for joining us. Your reaction to the president today, a lot of rhetoric that doesn't match the action on the ground. What did you think?
I believe that Al-Qaeda and ISIS are already active in Afghanistan. We were forces American forces.
Okay, we're having trouble with your sound. We're gonna come back to you as soon as we fix that technical difficulty. Congressman, we've abandoned Americans and allies to terrorists. This is worse than Saigon. It doesn't make sense to take out military personnel when you need the military personnel to get them out. Now we're putting military personnel back in, but the president's saying we will not do special force evacuations like France and the UK is doing. What do you say to that?
Well, I mean, it's amazing, Liz. You must have an amazing intelligence committee working for you to be able to come to those conclusions. This is something that the average American could see coming for months, and unfortunately, our commander-in-chief could not. I don't know why. This was predictable. It was preventable. Look, these aren't just contradictions, and this isn't just rhetoric that we're hearing out of this commander-in-chief. At this point, these are flat-out lies. He's not honoring the commitments to our allies. None of this was preordained for failure, and this wasn't something that was unavoidable from day one. He mentioned today that he's had calls with our allies around the globe, and they're not questioning our credibility. That's absolutely false. Today on the call, Secretary Blinken with members of Congress said that this deconfliction channel is going so well, and it's simply not true. It's a lie. And as we heard, the commander-in-chief, President Biden, said that Americans were not being beaten, they're not being harmed. And Secretary of Defense Austin called out that lie today on the call today as well. I'm not getting more encouraged as this goes on. This has been botched from day one, and it continues to get worse, unfortunately. And we're putting our troops and now Americans in a more risky position than they were even just a week ago at this point.
The president tried to blame former President Trump again today, but in July he said, I'm making this decision with clear eyes to withdraw. If Americans are getting beaten, doesn't that violate the Trump deal that Biden abandoned?
There's all sorts of conditions, Liz, that violated the Trump conditions for withdrawal. And it's beyond that. It's not just a time certainty. It wasn't just conditional. You need to look at what's happening on the ground. You need to look at the risk posture that we're assuming. And I can guarantee you that the Trump administration's withdrawal plan did not entail pulling military personnel out first before civilians. It didn't entail leaving our allies and surrendering Bagram Airfield at 2 in the morning when our troops were still in harm's way and our Afghan allied troops were in harm's way as well. So that's the challenge that we have right now. And this president is not executing the plan that President Trump was setting out to.
We've got Zack Poyan. The technical difficulties we think have been resolved. Zack, it's good to have you on. The White House topped spinning it after 24 State Department diplomats in Kabul last month warned the administration that, yes, Afghanistan would rapidly collapse after the U.S. withdrew, but they chose not to act. Just 5 days prior to that memo, President Biden has said this will not be another repeat of Saigon. Now foreign policy pros are saying this is worse than Saigon. What do you say?
I agree with Congressman what he just said. Truly, Al-Qaeda and ISIS, all of them are alive and well in Afghanistan. So for the past 20 years, we know that American forces, the best in the world, actually fighting against them. But when American forces left Afghanistan and basically gave the impression to Afghan people that they were abandoned and they basically had to fight for themselves. And they were fighting for a common cause. They were fighting American enemy, the worst enemy in the world, actually. They were fighting that for good causes, for freedom, for democracy, for civil liberties. And these are common causes that Afghans have and common belief with Americans. So when President Biden and previous administration decided to give legitimacy to Al-Qaeda, a terrorist group, a tyrant group, and basically that gave a boost to all the terrorist groups in the world, that American basically leaving their friends behind and walking away. So the primary reason that Afghan forces could not fight was because they were left alone. When Biden administration decided to leave them in the middle of the night without talking with them, I think they felt that they were betrayed by Biden administration.
We hear you loud and clear. How does the administration deal with the fact that now the Pentagon chief reportedly is admitting that, yes, Americans, Congressman Garcia, Americans are now getting beaten by the Taliban? This is outrageous. Why did they leave it up to the Taliban who decides who gets out? Why does the Taliban get to decide that? The White House is still choosing not to act, and Senator Lindsey Graham says, yeah, he should be impeached if any American or Afghan ally is harmed or stranded. This is Carter, Iran, 1981. Do we see a hostage situation again? I'm going to quickly close it out with what House Speaker Pelosi was saying earlier this week. Let's take that on first, Congressman. What do you say?
Yeah, I think this is a massive hostage crisis right now, and the president is directly responsible for it. Whether he likes it or not, this is a hot war, okay? And whether he realizes it or not, this is a hot war, and we need to start behaving that way. The fact that this operation is being led by the State Department rather than the DOD right now is a clear indicator, whether he's clear-eyed or not, that he's doing it incorrectly, and we're losing this fight even this week. We need to change our posture. We need to become offensive and aggressive. We need not only troops on the ground, but assets in the air, very low altitudes with very high speeds, making it a loud and clear message to the Taliban folks that are on the ground there that we're there to stay until all Americans are out, not just as many as we can get out.
You know, Zach, and by the way, the UK is really upset. The UK press is outraged that the president snubbed the UK and Boris Johnson, leader of the UK, for 36 hours, and then the president today is claiming he had no intelligence that they were upset. Zach, I want to talk to you about this. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi called out for her "stuff happens" comment, abandoning to the Taliban and terrorists U.S. military hardware, planes, guns, thousands of armored vehicles, including Humvees, Black Hawk helicopters, military drones. Reuters reporting the Biden administration is now considering as one option airstrikes against that very same equipment. The Taliban is already holding military parades with it. They're using the biometric tracking devices to go door to door to root out U.S. NATO allies and more. What is happening with U.S. military equipment right now in the hands of terrorists, Zach?
Well, truly, they are going to use against Afghan forces, and they're going to use that one against our ally and the West, and that's pretty obvious. And September 11, prior to that, they were not as equipped as they are right now. So everything that American forces, NATO forces left in Afghanistan, now they are controlling. That could have been prevented easily if Biden administration left some forces there as a deterrent to Taliban. But let me be very clear about this, and Congressman is extremely right about this, that Al-Qaeda and ISIS, the sworn enemy of the United States, Taliban, they're alive and well. The last message came from Taliban. They said, America, we are coming after you. What do you think about that? Okay. How could you possibly ignore that?
Zack Poyan, Congressman Mike Garcia, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.